So we're going to start in Unit 1, which is whole numbers and decimals. Over the course of this week, we're going to do 1.1, which is reading, writing, and rounding numbers, 1.2, working with whole numbers, 1.3, strategy for solving word problems, 1.4, working with decimal numbers, and then we'll also have a quiz, which will actually be next week. So starting with 1.1, reading, writing, and rounding numbers. Our decimal system uses digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The position of each digit affects the value as shown in the chart below. So you can see trillions, billions, millions, thousands, ones, and then decimal. So there's the names that go along with each place value. Dollars and cents are based on the decimal system. We're going to start by changing numbers into words. So this is really beneficial when you are writing a check. You have to write in words the amount that you are writing your check for. So it is definitely very applicable to real life. You're going to break the number into two parts, the whole number and the decimal. Beginning at the decimal point and proceeding to the left, the whole number is separated by commas into groups of 3 digits. To read and write in words, begin at the left and read each group of 3 digits by itself, adding the group name like million. The whole number and the decimal part are separated by the word and. To read and write the decimal part in words, read as a whole number except that the decimal word, like hundredths, is added. The decimal word is the word appearing in the column in which the last digit is located. There are some rules for you to look at, so make sure you take a look at these rules. The group name rule, the and rule, the rule, the hyphen rule, and the dollar amount rule. And then we'll take a look at example 1. So we want to change the following numbers to words. So the first one, we have the number 2,000. $400. $83. Notice nowhere is there an and. You only use and when you have a decimal. All right, this one we have a ridiculously long number. So this is the ones. This is the thousands, the millions, the billions, and that's going to get us into 3 trillion. So we have 3 trillion. 567. So there's the hyphen rule. Billion. 234 million. 789,000. 123. So a really, really big number and lots of stuff going on with our place values and with our hyphen rules. And then last but not least, 123,000. $37. So there are some examples changing the following numbers into words. In example 2, we want to change the following words to numbers. So in this one we have 226,000. So 226,000 looks like this. The next one is 226 thousandths. So if we think about what that means, the THS means decimal, and this is going to be our tenths, and then our hundredths, and then our thousandths, and then that's what we want. So 226 thousandths would look like that. And then last but not least, 226 thousandths, the and means the decimal. So we have the number 200, which is just 200, and means decimal, and 26 thousandths, it's gonna be 0.26. So again, we need to be in the thousandths column, and that's what 26 thousandths looks like. Sometimes you'll have, or you'll see really big numbers, say in the paper, or online, or some news source that you're reading. So changing parts of a million, billion, trillion, etc. to a regular number. You're going to replace the decimal point with a comma and add enough zeros after the last given digit, that the leftmost digit represents the word name it was assigned. Remember to add commas where needed. So 2.3 billion to a regular number. So we're going to change that point, the decimal point, to a comma. So 2,3, and we need to make that billion. So if we add 2 zeros, that's only in the thousands. If we add 3 more zeros, that's in the millions. And then if we add 3 more, then the 2 is going to be in the billions. So there's 2.3 billion as a regular number. It's a lot easier to write this in the paper or in a news article than it is to write this number. Okay, rounding numbers. So you're going to underline the digit you want to round. If the digit to the right of the underlined digit is a 4 or less, don't change the underlined digit. If the digit to the right of the underlined digit is a 5 or more, increase the underlined digit by 1. Change all digits to the right of the underlined digit to zeros. So we need to round this number 18,724 to the nearest thousand. So here's our thousands. There's our underlined digit. We're going to take a look at the number to the right, which is a 7 because it's greater than a 4. We're going to round this 8 up, and we're going to have 19,000. And then all of these become zeros. So 18,724 to the nearest thousand is 19,000. How do we increase a 9? If the underlined digit is a 9 and it's to be increased because the digit to the right is a 5 or more, we are supposed to change the 9 to a 10, but we can't make it a 2-digit number. So instead, we change it to a 0 and increase the digit to the left by 1. So in this case, we have a dollar amount. We want to increase, so round $12,954 to the nearest $100. So here's $100. And again, we're looking at this digit to the right. So the 5's going to round it up 1, but that's going to make that a 0, and that's going to make the 2 into a 3. So we'd have $13,000. That's $12,954 rounded to the nearest $100. There's an extra step for rounding decimal numbers. So if the underlined digit to the right of the decimal point, or is to the right of the decimal point, you drop all zeros to the right of the underlined digit, which are called trailing zeros. It does not affect the value. If the underlined digit is to the left, then you're going to drop all digits to the right of the decimal point and eliminate the decimal point. So in this case, we want to round this to 2 decimal places, which would be the nearest hundredth. So here's our second decimal place. We're going to look at this 4. Because it's a 4, we're going to keep this the same. So it stays an 8, and 523 and 6,847 10,000ths becomes 523 and 68 hundredths. So that's, if you had if you're calculating a percent of money, you're going to round that to 2 decimal places because that would be the cents. If you're not told where to round, there's no hard and fast rules for rounding without instructions. So generally accepted guidelines, unless otherwise indicated, round only the final answer, not intermediate results. And unless otherwise indicated, round dollar amounts to the nearest penny. So it's going to be 2 decimal places. And there are your notes. So go ahead and take a look at the assignment at Schoology. And let me know if you have any questions.